Thank you for joining us on We've Got the Power.
iUrban TV presents We Got the Power. Hosted by City of Miami Commissioner Michelle Spence Jones.
It is a pleasure to be with you this morning. This is your City of Miami Commissioner Michelle Spence Jones.
I have a vision that, upon being elected into this office, that there's many things I can do to turn this community around.
Hey Miami, this is your City of Miami Commissioner Michelle Spence Jones. And guess what? You're watching iUrban TV. Hey, I got my best friend on air.
Reggie Klein, good to see you, everyone.
And we're gathered here today for our wonderful justice show. We just came out of the studio with WMBM. And Reggie, this is all about you today, Reggie.
No, it's all about the candidates.
Yes.
And today we've got one of my closest and dearest friends, Vereen. We've known each other for, I think, 22, 24 years. Rod is running for state attorney, and he would make history because he would be the first black state attorney in the entire state of Florida, in the history of Florida. So I'd like to turn to Rod and ask him to tell us what made you take this big step and run against an incumbent, do what you're doing.
Well, Reggie, as you know, I grew up here in Miami-Dade County, in Carroll City particularly. And I've now been practicing law for the past 22 years. I started off as an assistant state attorney in Tallahassee, Florida. I became the first African-American assistant federal public defender for the Northern District of Florida. And I have now been back in Miami for the past 17 years practicing in federal criminal law, state criminal law, federal civil torts litigation.
Right, let me ask you something. One of the things that we're doing, this is kind of our show to kind of know something a little bit personal about the candidates. We feel like it's important for our viewers to, outside of the office that you're running for, tell us a little bit about some of the organizations that you're a part of, that, deal with, these issues prior to kids making these kind of, bad mistakes or, creating these issues in their own lives. Like, so let the viewers know some of the organizations, associations. I believe you're part of some fraternity. I'm not sure what that fraternity is.
I don't know why you had to bring that up.
we know, let me look at the viewers, we know. Let me tell you, my experience with the organization started back at Miami-Dade Community College when I was 17 years old. At that time, I pledged Alpha Phi Omega, which is a national service fraternity, and we did a lot of social and civic service projects in the community. And we did things from adopting highways and cleaning the streets and going into slum neighborhoods and cleaning those neighborhoods up, and going into dilapidated houses of the elderly and sometimes laying floors. We worked with Habitat Humanity, and so I got a good chance to really get involved in in the community, in these blighted areas, learning who these people are, because we have a lot of good people living in bad conditions. Mm-hmm. And then, when I left to go away to college, I still got involved in fact, I was involved with all the chapters in Tallahassee. I became the Dean of Pledges of all three campuses, Florida State, FAMU, as well as Tallahassee Community College. When I came back to Miami, I again got connected with the NAACP. I became a civil life member of the NAACP. I became a life member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I became a member of 100 Black Men. I was already a Mason, and then I became a Shriner as well. And the good thing about all of those organizations is that they all have mentoring programs for youth. That's one of the things that we make sure that every one of the organizations that I was a part of, and that's one of the things that drew me to those organizations, that we had to have mentoring organizations for the youth. I can only imagine how difficult it is for a young black man growing up in a community full of young black men without fathers in the household, no role models, lack of youthful guidance, which leads them into the juvenile justice system. Then they have fallen prey to direct filing, which is the process that the state attorney's office uses to charge a juvenile as an adult. Now you send them into the adult system, and once they have been adjudicated as a felon, even as a juvenile, they can no longer apply for guaranteed student loans. So now we have prevented them from that one avenue that can lead them to a higher education that is free, because they can no longer pay for that.
They can't get an education.
They can't get an education. We have to reinvest in ourselves. I'm not going to say invest, because we invest. We have to reinvest. Those that have made it need to go back and stay in those neighborhoods. Even if you don't live in them, come there and work in those neighborhoods to try to eradicate the ignorance and the climate of that we have with folks that feel hopeless. Okay, you know, we're constantly fighting to keep our black politicians in place. We're constantly fighting to keep black lawyers active in the community. We're constantly fighting to try to get in offices that we've never held before, just so that those that are looking at us are saying, I was a part of that. You know,
someone to follow.
Yeah. And if we can do that, we can turn our community around.
Rod, tell the viewers
Yes.
your punch number so they know where to vote.
My punch number is 30, and if you are from the biblical community in which I'm from, just remember the Trinity. All right, 30. And I'm hoping that you go out to the polls on August 14th. Be a part of history. Be a part of change that Miami-Dade County so greatly needs at this time. We need a politician that's going to be a true prosecutor, excuse me, not a politician. We need someone who takes the interests of the community at heart, somebody that has a conscience in the pulse of the community, and can bring about the much needed change that we so greatly need. So I'm asking all the viewers to go out, be for Vereen, be for victory. Let's be victorious.